Good morning once again, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Welcome to WEFM 99.9. The clean, fresh sound. Today is Wednesday, the 22nd day of March, 2023. The time is now 10 minutes after the 8 o'clock hour. So if there's somewhere that you needed to be at 8 o'clock, like, I don't know, maybe in a bank, and you're not there yet, then you are a little behind time. But no worries, the banks will close at a later time. It's best to get in there as early as you possibly can and take care of your business. Let me say good morning to all those who are listening across St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the rest of the region, and the rest of the world. Good morning and welcome. Those of you who are behind time, not the figurative behind time, but literally an hour behind or ahead of time, good morning to you. The WhatsApp number to connect with us this morning is 457-9994, and each and every single day, by the way. The number to call is 457-9997. Let me say good morning to Lennon, Shep, Neil, Wayne, Dale, who've all checked in really early. And to the silent listeners out there, good morning to the minibus drivers, conductors, and passengers, everybody who is gainfully employed, unemployed, underemployed, overemployed, not doing anything at all. Still saying good morning. Now, this morning, I wanna touch on something that's happening today. Today's the 22nd day of March. And for some people, it's a significant day. Significant in the sense of it's going to be the last day that we're going to be seeing CIBC First Caribbean International Bank open. A few months ago, we learned that the bank was up for sale in 4 Caribbean countries, and the indigenous banks, the indigenous commercial banks of the respective countries were set to take over. There was quite a bit of talk at that time. And I know people took the talk political or tried to take it political, but I don't believe that that was the case. And I'll tell you why in just a few. Today, based on releases, and I've been seeing notices on my WhatsApp status, there were articles, even on the Bank of St. Vincent and the Grenadines' website. First thing you see when you log on, first of all, they change your website. I almost couldn't find the link to the online profile, the online banking, but I found it eventually. They tell you certain changes that are going to be made. So for the next few days, a transition from being a CIBC customer to a Bank of St. Vincent and the Grenadines customer. I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm feeling a little sad this morning, a little sad, because it's an institution that I hold very dear to my heart for several reasons. Now, the notice that I saw, it said, a note to our clients in St. Vincent, closure of business. Their clients, our final day of business is the 22nd of March, 2023. That is today. The branch will close the business at 3 p.m. We will immediately begin transferring client information and other aspects of our business to the Bank of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, because there will be a few days where there is a necessary break in services to allow us to transfer your account information and ensure that this is done accurately. There are some things you should remember to do prior to closure to ensure you have adequate access to funds to do your business. Oh no! CIBC has gone through so much. Do you remember when CIBC used to be lower down on Halifax Street, where Gecko is now? But before there was Gecko, there was Centrex. And before Centrex was CIBC. There used to be an alley walking through to take you from Back Street to Middle Street. There used to be an alley. And I can tell you that because I grew up in that bank. since I was like 6, 7 years old. I grew up in that bank. So I'm very familiar with the staff. Grew up and then I eventually got a job there. We were there for 7 years. Wonderful people. Sometimes if you don't catch the alley on time, because they will close the bottom gate and then the side door you go in and out. To this day, I still cannot find the gypsy ball that went missing in that building. I wonder if anybody ever found it. And then CIBC and Barclays merged. Where CIBC is now is where Barclays used to be. Then they merged and they had to move up because it didn't make sense to have two branches. Didn't make any sense. They merged to form First Caribbean International Bank. Blue and yellow, those were the colors, blue and gold. And then there was some other acquisition shares there. Barclays said goodbye forever to the Caribbean. At least to St. Vincent. I don't know about the other countries. Then it became CIBC First Caribbean International Bank. And they had to change uniform and branding. Everything had to change again. I still have my old card just for, collector's sake. My old blue and yellow. I wonder if I could find the very original CIBC card. That red with the crimson, the gold things in it. That was the most recent, well, prior to this. That was that change. Going back to red or crimson. Banks have gone through many changes over the years. Of course, obviously because of the economy. Fees went up. I remember when interest rate dropped from 3% to 2%. Boy, was it worst time to be a customer service representative. More or less. People were upset. Some folks moved their assets. And then I remember when other expenses went up. And obviously, with time as well, other banks began to move out of St. Vincent and the Caribbean. I'm absolutely certain that at the time when this announcement was made, that CIBC was leaving, that if you recall the number of banks that packed up, closed their doors and left. Let me take a call. Hello, good morning. Oh, just a split second there. I missed that. I'm sorry. Try again. If you were keeping track of all the banks, Barclays, Scotiabank, RBTT, you'd realize that our money is just not big enough for them. The risk of operating is probably too great. And the profits that they're making is just enough. Just not worth it. And it's quite unfortunate. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, good morning.
How are you this morning?
Well, okay.
Mm-hmm.
You just made me pick up on something you said.
What's that?
I should have known you when you were growing up. At CIBC.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up in the bank.
I love that. And you had some beautiful women there in my time when I knew it.
Dave, if you bring up a woman in your name,
remember Leslie? Do you know one by the name of Leslie, a tall, elegant lady?
Yes, tell me.
Okay, all right. Yeah. Well, she even used my name to contest the Queen show here at one time.
Oh, really? That was in 1991.
Oh, well, I didn't remember. I hope
I could tell you the year.
Huh?
I could tell you the year. It was 1991.
Okay. So you were at the show?
No, I was 1 year old at that time. But I could tell you because...
okay.
I could tell you because I know.
I know you know. I was reminded, about that some time ago. So
Mm.
And I did some work when it was CIBC. I did some. Do you remember a manager there by the name of Bill Ryan?
I don't remember Bill Ryan.
Okay. Well, he was the manager.
Crichton, Walt Clark. Those are the two that I distinctly remember. Then Elroy John was at First Caribbean. And then Andre Cadogan and Chile.
I was talking about CIBC because there used to be a shortcut from Little Street to Back Street, Back Street to Little Street.
That was a nice little shortcut. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah.
It's just that to bring back old time days there to me for a while, and you know, I identify with CIBC very much at one time. Mm-hmm. I used to do some publicity for them.
Okay.
All right. So,
all right.
Take care. Have a good day.
All right. You too. Thanks. Bye-bye. What? All right. Great. Somebody says, Christal, I still have my book. Oh, and she sent me a photograph. But this was even before they had the red book. This book is gold and it has a key on it. Meant that that's a key account. Watch your time. Yeah, man. As I was saying, the bank went through quite a number of changes, and banks go through that. You remember when this bank in town was charging you $25 to have an account? It's not because they wanted your money. It's because they didn't want to hold your assets. Banks are trying to make as much money as possible. It is an expense to hold savings and just have it there. And then make it worse, people ain't borrowing. And they're not borrowing as much as before for personal financial reasons. So if they're not borrowing and they're holding the monies there, they have to pay for holding our monies. You have to pay a certain percentage to the government. That's why they don't want to do that. And they found different means and ways of swiveling around and making things work for them. I remember with CIBC too, after a while, they were left with no choice but to shrink after the merger. That was really sad. Like I said, changes. Based on their bottom line, they had targets. Just like any other institution, you all have targets. But I'm not going to say too much on that. Can't believe today is the very last day that I'm going to be able to walk into that bank or use the ATM. There are some more notices from the bank, because it's not just today, but it's over a course of a few days. For example, last night was the last night you were able to do your night depository for those who have those commercial accounts. I cannot use my credit card beyond tomorrow. Just the other day, they were calling folks to replace their cards. Not able to log on to my internet banking profile after tomorrow. Let me tell you about that. I've experienced a few online platforms, and in terms of technology, and this is what I'm going to miss the most about this bank. Oh, I kind of, it hurting me, it hurting a couple of customers too. They had one of the best platforms in terms of technology. CIBC had telephone banking, they had mobile banking, they had internet banking. And the internet banking was so easy and user-friendly. I've not experienced all, but for the ones that I have, I'm not saying that they're terrible. I'm not saying that they're not good enough. But comparatively top-notch. Ask any other customer and they'll tell you the same thing. They set a standard for the other banks to meet. And of course, technology is beyond St. Vincent and the Grenadines. But locally, the other platforms have some improving to do to even get to that point. The worst thing that can possibly happen is, worst case scenario, another commercial bank leaves. We have two more, or three now, and a lot of credit unions. Quite a number of credit unions actually in this country. If another one leaves, that narrows down our options, because I know Bank of St. Vincent ain't going nowhere. They ain't going nowhere. But what you don't want to have in the long run, and it's not going to be any fault of ours, right? You don't want to have just one. You don't want to have all your wire transfers and your commercial transactions and your debit and credit card transactions going through just one. In terms of the market, challenging. Because like I said before, people ain't borrowing. And they're trying their best. And it's very competitive. Because it's not just commercial banks are looking for loans. You have the credit unions looking for loans. And then you have other institutions that are lending monies to. The pie is this big. The more people you have coming in to take a piece of the pie, the more challenging it's going to be for those who are existing. But that's the way the world works, right? So today we say goodbye to CIBC First Caribbean International Bank. I think you've done as well. Every institution has their challenges. You would complain from time to time about anything at all. There's nothing in this world that is perfect. Probably except the Bible. I don't know. But then again, people think differently towards that too. You have served us very well for the time that you've been in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So long. And we're going to meet again. I really need to take a walk through the bank and just say goodbye with my emotional self. Somebody says, last day I am holding on to them. Yeah, I am never getting rid of my old cards. So that when I become a 90-year-old great-grandmother, tell my great-grandchildren, like, did you know that on the street there was a CIBC? Good times. All right, so it's 8:28. We've got to take a quick break and come right back. Thank you so much for joining the live as well. And when we come back, we're going to move on to something else that's making the rounds in SVG. Good morning to Joshua. You take care of yourself.